Ken Delanian and Lisa Rubin, guys, thank you both very much. And joining us now is Norm Eisen, State Democracy Fund Chair, former special counsel and special assistant to President Obama. He was also an advisor to the impeachment managers during Trump's first impeachment. Norm, it's good to have you with us. What's your reaction to what we're hearing from the president and the vice president about how they see their executive powers?
Anna, I don't think the courts or the American people are going to let the vice president, the president, Mr. Musk, who's an administration official, who's also suggested that the courts may not need to be followed or judges may need to be unlawfully removed. He said that in one of his tweets earlier today. I don't think they're going to get away with that. What you're seeing is a shock and awe assault on the foundations of our democracy with all of these unconstitutional and illegal actions, and a responding shock and awe by my group and our allies and many others, going to court and securing these orders, stopping them. I won orders last week, the very first case locking Mr. Musk out of the Treasury Department. He has no right to look at that data. Tying the hands of the president, the attorney general, and others who want to dox, reveal the identity of 6,000 FBI agents. They don't have any legal right to do that under the Privacy Act and otherwise. We're in court this morning arguing that Donald Trump's birthright citizenship, rewriting the Constitution, he gets to pick and choose who are citizens of the United States. No, we're in a courtroom right now with our allies fighting that, and we filed a brief on behalf of Anna, almost 24 conservatives. Every presidential administration, from Nixon to Trump's first administration, saying, of course, this offer to force federal employees out without the permission of Congress, illegal. So, and that case will be heard today. We've been involved in many of these cases, and they're going to lose.
The federal.
I have put together, greetings Monday afternoon. I have put together a bunch of stuff that today is meant to be, usually after a football game, going to use a sports analogy, usually after a football game that occurs on Saturday or Sunday. Hope your Super Bowl team won. What a game. Worst game ever, worst halftime ever, worst commercials ever. But that being said, usually after a game, you come back and you assess what happened at the game, and you watch the game film and try to see what's going on, what you can expect future opponents to do, so you can game plan accordingly. I have said for quite some time that I believe that Donald Trump and the team have game planned accordingly, and I really hope that's the case in regards to where the Democrats are headed right now. The Democrats realize they're done. Norm Eisen, who is the poster child for Lawfare, as you heard, was involved in the impeachment stuff and has made a living on doing nothing but suing President Trump and the administration for loony left causes, said the courts and the American people are behind him. Well, he obviously has not been looking at the people. The people overwhelmingly are behind Donald Trump on this. Overwhelmingly. As high as, depending on what poll, could be as high as 75% believe that what Trump is doing is what we want him to do. As I've mentioned to you before, in simple math, if you're getting those kinds of numbers, you are now hitting a large percentile group of Democrats. Further evidenced, let me see if I can pull something up for you. I always have these things here, but they're in different orders. Further evidence by the fact of, at this point, all the pollsters, even on CNN, CBS, all of them are now saying, hey, country has shifted. The ideology of the country has shifted decidedly to the right. And I don't know if so much it's decidedly to the right as much as decidedly to what makes sense. And so now we've entered this phase where the Democrats know they have nothing. And the only thing they're relying on are seemingly activist judges who are putting themselves in place to say that they are the rulers of this country, not the president. Another ruling came out this morning, yet another, which he just referred to. Just in, President Trump's birthright citizenship executive order is blocked by a federal judge, Joseph LaPlante. So that one's been blocked. You have to think that Trump knew all this was going to happen. We had to get all of this bubbled up. And I believe he said, give me all the most biggest issues we need to confront. Let's look at every single one of those issues. I will wager and put out there an executive order. They will fight the executive order. They'll find a slimy judge to do whatever they need to do. And then we'll have all of these stupid rulings to bring to the Supreme Court on an emergency basis and just stop all this nonsense once and forever. He had to know that because he understands, and his team should understand, these people are doing nothing but trying to cripple Trump right now. They got nothing left. All they can talk about is, well, they do have one thing left, and I'm going to show you, but it's protest. It's protest. It's lawfare. There's nothing else they can do. So I have to believe that Trump was smart enough from what we've seen to understand this has to go to the Supreme Court. There's no doubt about it. They're running across the country to find these judges. I don't even know where this one's from. This one, I believe, is, I don't know, New Hampshire? He's from New Hampshire. So you got people here who ran all the way up to New Hampshire to get in front of this judge and get him to sign it. They have these people placed in the judiciary specifically for this. They're like landmines. And they're just waiting to explode once they're called on to do so. So you have to believe Trump understood that as well. So little housekeeping here. Supposedly President Trump is going to be signing some executive orders. If they cover it, we will cut to it. If not, we'll just continue with our show. But that judge, man, that's just nasty. Nasty what they're doing. Before we go, let me talk to you about a couple things that President Trump put out this morning that you should be aware of. This is kind of going to make you like, really? I never thought about that. President Trump did an executive order and says for far too long, the United States has minted pennies, which literally cost us more than 2 cents. Let that sink in. The government has been minting penny, 1 cent. Yeah, this thing right here that represents in our currency, if I could use my fingernail to pick it up, this is 1 cent. It cost us 2 cents to make it. So there it is right there. So Trump, wait a minute, it's a 1 cent currency, but it cost us 2. So we're losing 100% of our money every time we mint one of these things? Yes. Why are we doing that? Why are we spending 2 cents to make 1 cent? Did you know that? I didn't know that. How many times have different presidents just nodded and let that go? Hey, let's spend 2 cents to make 1 cent. It goes further. You know it costs 13 cents to make a nickel. Now, real quick, if you're not sure, let me just be the one to tell you, a nickel is 5 cents. The nickel is 5 cents. It costs 13 cents to make the 5 cent piece. I'd love to know who the brainchild was who came up with this and didn't stop it years ago as it began to get more expensive. Hey, sir, yeah, this thing here costs 13 cents to make. The 5-cent piece costs 13 cents? Yes, sir. The first time somebody heard that, why didn't that just go away right then and there? I can't tell you. This is so wasteful. I have instructed my Secretary of the Treasury to stop producing new pennies. Let's rip the waste out of our great nation's budget, even if it's a penny at a time. I don't know how many pennies are in circulation. I couldn't even begin to imagine that. But as you pick up one on the floor or in your pocket, or you get change and think to yourself, I just made a cent. You did. If somebody hands you a penny in change and they say, okay, that's going to be $5.97, sir, and here's 3 cents, and they give you 3 of these, it's actually 6 cents. Because it costs 2 to make this 1. You just doubled your money. Take that and go get it melted or something. Hey, yeah, just don't. So you got like a gazillion pennies, you could be rich. You could double your money overnight. And if you got a gazillion nickels, oh, then you're sitting fat and happy. Yes, indeed. Real world stuff here. All right, so the next thing we got to talk about is our service academies, where the cadets go. Our service academies have been infiltrated by woke leftist ideologues over the last 4 years. I have ordered the immediate dismissal of the Board of Visitors for the Army, Air Force, Navy, and Coast Guard. We will have the strongest military in history, and that begins by appointing new individuals to these boards. We must make the military academies great again. I completely concur. Completely concur. Why did we have woke? I don't even know what the Board of Visitors does. And my brother went to West Point. Is that the person we called when we needed parking or tickets or something? I have no idea. But Trump said, enough's enough. We're not going to have woke people there either. And lastly, Trump has appointed another ambassador. Howard Brody will be the next United States ambassador to Finland. Howard is a distinguished attorney, investor, and businessman who currently serves as co-president and general counsel of Brody Generational Capital Partners. A proud graduate of Yale Law School, Howard has decades of international experience, and he will be the new ambassador to Finland. So he's just filling these lower level. I wouldn't even call them cabinet positions at this point. All right, so let's continue. Elon is pointing this out. There is a massive effort by the unelected bureaucracy to oppose the elected president, House, and Senate. This is why I say the true and noble battle is to restore democracy, rule of the people, from the bureaucracy, rule of the bureaucrats. A little tongue twisting there. ALX, who works with Benny, says, will be interesting to find out the people who greenlit this and hear their explanation on why they think they have the authority to subvert the president's agenda and the will of the voters. And what is he referring to? Sit down. Sit down, because I don't want you to fall. This is bad. This is really bad. Elon's team just discovered that FEMA sent out $59 million last week to luxury hotels in New York City to house newcomers. Sending this money directly violated the law and is in gross insubordination to the president's executive order. That money is meant for American disaster relief and instead is being spent on high-end hotels for newcomers. A clawback demand will be made today to recoup those funds. So what you have to realize at this point, while they are going to court to try and force President Trump to follow the law, they are ignoring the law at the very same time. At the very same time, they are completely ignoring the law. They could care less. $59 million of your money went out the door, even though they were told, do not send out any more money. I didn't know this. Ashley filled me in on this. Do you know who owns the hotels that's getting this $59 million? The hotels are owned Let's see if it says it in here. The hotels are owned by Pakistan. And Chuck Schumer made a deal so that it didn't even have to have a way station. The money goes straight to the Pakistani government. It bypasses anybody else. So he said, in regards to this, $59 million went from our country to their country directly, even though the president said, don't send it. FEMA sent $59 million to luxury hotels. And that's the hotel. I wanted to show you. That's the hotel. Down here, the city of New York pays $220 million to rent the entire hotel and to house them. The hotel is owned by the government of Pakistan, and the deal was part of a $1.1 billion IMF bailout package to help Pakistan from defaulting on their debt. So we are paying Pakistan. Pakistan is the landlord. Did you know that? And they just defied what the president said. Didn't care. Didn't care. In addition, we found this one. Natalie Danielson. The U.S. Department of Education spent at least $1 billion on grants advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, otherwise known as DEI, in hiring, programming, mental health training in American schools since 2021. Biden Education Department spent $1 billion of your dollars on DEI. This is so, the fraud at this point is so pervasive that normal people, cannot wrap their hands around the sheer largesse of how much these people are screwing the American people. And smiling about it, and happy about it, and protesting that you even have the audacity to question it, and then the temerity to try and stop it. We dare you to try and stop it. They are actively and are willing to go to the mattresses and fight you physically if necessary to take your money to move it in other places. Hey, Barry, you just said physically. Oh, yeah. The calls have gone out. The calls have gone out for them to get violent. You are not entitled to your money. It is ours. We'll decide how much you get to keep. Keep pushing and you'll find out. That's essentially what they're saying. It is our money. We decide where it goes. You can't stop us. And in fact, we'll let you know what we'll allow you to keep in your paltry bank accounts. Barry, how do you say that? Yeah, well, let me just continue to show you some of this stuff.
Workforce is the largest employer in the nation, and federal data shows that Black Americans who have historically found greater equity in the public sector compared to the private sector will disproportionately bear the brunt of Trump's effort to gut the federal workforce. Black people are more likely to be employed by state or federal government than any other demographic, according to a Center for American Progress analysis of 2022 data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Approximately 1 in 5 Black workers are employed in the public sector.
If you have a bank account or a credit card or a mortgage or a student loan,
Before we get to Miss Crazy Pocahontas, understand what they're doing now. Because everything they do is about messaging. And this messaging that they're deciding that they want to take on is to let, the black people, the people they feel are easiest to sway, the easiest to agitate. Because, 1 in 5 black people in some way, shape, or form work for the government. So they're talking about all the way down to a local basis, because there's no way the people here in Boca, 1 out of 5 black people work for the federal government. It just ain't true. It's not even close to being true. But truth doesn't matter. It's appearance and how they want to posture a narrative. They realize at this point they have completely lost on any narrative in regards to this money. How do you know this? Because they won't talk about it. So now all they're focusing on is what this money that Elon Musk is doing, how it affects your pocketbook. when if these people even looked, they would realize most of this money is going overseas, is doing crazy stuff. Let me show you. If it's not going overseas, it's being stolen. Absolutely straight up stolen. Congressman Sarah Jacobs, where is she from? Let's see where Sarah Jacobs is from. San Diego, California. She posts something here. Freezing U.S. foreign aid assistance means people will starve, babies will die, and poverty will skyrocket. Babies will die. All of a sudden you're worried about babies. Poverty will skyrocket. They don't even have to try and define that, because that's not what's important. What's important is to let you think that's the truth. She got called out all over the place. People were like, hey, you're an idiot. What are you talking about? You've written this article that makes absolutely no sense, but that article was placed in People magazine. Why People magazine? Because this is the magazine that people pick up when they're, just about to check out grocery stores with the SNAP benefits. Panicked USAID workers grapple with defunding of humanitarian efforts. People will starve and babies will die. The 64-year-old relief agency was gutted. The people who do life-saving work for USAID say they're shocked and vilified and abandoned overseas. You see, that wasn't in her tweet. That's not in the headline. It's not until you get to the sub-headline that they tell you what they're actually worried about. Oh, we thought I was talking about you black people. Oh, no, I'm sorry. We're talking about the people in, Uganda, not you. Go live on the street, sucker. We really don't care about you. I'll tweet about it and say babies are going to die and all kinds of stuff, but you thought I meant you people. What do you mean, you people? Yeah, no, it's not you people. We could give a crap about you. You really think we care about you? We got your vote. We've had your vote for years and decades. We're over here, perfecting our grift by sending it to, Somalia. Those black faces, those black babies, that poverty, not you. To me, this is one of the most sickening things I've seen, is how they are openly, without any thought, well, actually, a lot of thought to them, how they're treating people over there, without any thought to people here. They don't care. You're too stupid to understand that we're taking your money and doing whatever we want with it, to the tune of tens and hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars. For people who always complain about billions and millions, they don't have any problem taking it from you. And I'm going to make sure I drill that to you guys, that they are indeed looking to take it from you. There is nothing here in terms of regards of, making sure Americans are okay. Look, which programs have you seen are for Americans? This one here, let me see this one that I just pulled up. Will just drive you nuts. Okay, this one here. Because many of you either are veterans or know someone who's a veteran or have a family member who's a veteran. Doug Collins, the newly appointed and confirmed Secretary of Veterans Affairs for the Trump administration, Doug Collins, he goes, I ran across a $178,000 contract that the VA had with Politico, and we promptly canceled it. The money can be better spent on veterans' health care. Duh! So understand this, on the surface, before you dig deep, before we get into the weeds of this thing, Politico's been getting tens of millions of dollars buried in these agencies across the country. To the tune, I believe it's up to like $40 million a year, Politico, a website, has been getting from the government. They get it from the government to talk crap about the other side of the government, Republicans. the government is subsidizing anti-opponent news. And you've been hearing this, but people are starting to realize now how deep this penetrates and how they spread it across the entirety of the government to where Doug Collins shows up and says, what do you mean we're writing checks for $178,000 to Politico? So this money isn't going to help people here. How many veterans could be helped with $178,000? It's not a lot of money, but you still could help a lot of veterans with $178,000. The Department of DOGE has been on a mission to trim the fat, identifying and eliminating over $8 million in federal spending on Politico subscriptions and over $40 million on the New York Times, not stopping there. So the question is, that I'm going to pose to you, how come Elizabeth Warren and all these politicians and all these lawyers that are suing don't talk about this? Hey, they just found $178,000 from the Veterans Department going to Politico. Is that needed? The very nature of what the Democrats have been doing is in complete peril, and they are terrified of what possibly could happen. Terrified. This entire thing could fall down on their head. I know you've heard this. But the important part is where they are now and then determining where you are now. Because you need to be in a position where you're ready and able to fight. And I'm looking at see if he's coming out. Nothing yet. Because that's what's going to be important. I've said it many times. We are in the American Revolution. We may be in American Revolution number 2 and Civil War number 2 all wrapped up together. Enough strong Americans aren't realizing what's happening, and they think that Trump and the administration will take care of it all and they can sit back. And I'm telling you, you can't sit back because they're not sitting back. They are actively pursuing every means possible to destroy you. I'm going to show you this in a second. Every means possible. That being said, I can see hourly what these people are doing. It's hard to see on our end what people are doing. Why? Because I know if I go on MSNBC, if I go on CNN, CBS, I can see their congressmen out like wolves. They're always out there. You know it. Turn on MSNBC right now. Within 20 minutes, there's going to be 1 or 2 congressmen on there. Turn on Fox. See how many congressmen are on supporting us. That's where the problem is. We do not have enough fighters in Congress and in the Senate. We've got too many people sipping tea at the country club. I am so sick of it. It ticks me off to no end when I can make all these videos and I can pull different snippets. And I'm like, where the F are the Republicans? You would think at this point that Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Rick Scott, and what's the guy's name? Byron Donalds. There's like a handful of people out there. Meanwhile, I turn on their television, it's just constant. They could literally have people on a 24-hour loop telling you what they're doing out in the street, protesting. I was just looking at a protest, and they're protesting over at education headquarters. No, the other one. They're at another one today. You saw the education headquarters the other day. They're out there every single day. Where's your team? Where are the Republicans who are willing to roll up the sleeves and get going? Where are they? And what are you doing to make them get their butts out there? Because this is a war of attrition. It's nice to say we've got this big digital army up in the White House or wherever DOGE is, but that's one agency. And everything we look at on X, I'm like, oh, great. Oh, yeah, they're great. They're doing a great job. Who else? And so I've decided that I need to talk about this, because if you don't watch out and you don't start fighting, here, let me show you something in regards to why you should be fighting. When you see stuff like this, there's some new news. 40 minutes ago, another judge. I just happen to be looking for a story I'm going to tell you about. Let me, well, you know what? Let me wait. I'll come to that in a second. The judges out there are firing missiles at Trump, left and right. I've got two right here I can show you, but I wanted to show you this thing when I get down to it, because this is just, when you see this, this is going to make you absolutely scream. It was reported on CNN. Where is it? Treason. CNN is reporting that America's top military leaders are meeting to formulate plans to defy orders from President Trump or Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth that they don't agree with, including using active duty troops to quell protests in cities or assist with deportations. So these people, who are military leaders and generals and everything else, they're actually out there making plans to treasonously go against President Trump's orders. Defiantly, in the open, on CNN. Oh yeah, we're going to do this. We're going to fight back here. Like, wait, I've never been in the military, but I said my brother is a colonel at this point, went to West Point. My father was in the military. Right now, my father, if he was still here, would be going crazy. What do you mean you're out there planning to subvert the President of the United States? How does that even happen? How do you even get and have a meeting and then tell CNN, hey, listen, yeah, that's what we're going to do. We're going to make sure if Trump says something, we're going to fight it. Many of you who are watching who've been in the military, and I'll have to take a few comments up, but you could tell me, have you ever heard such insanity? Have you ever heard such insanity where the leaders are openly, never mind, maybe they whisper in the dark. No, these people are on CNN. Yeah, if this guy says something we don't like, you know, we're already making plans. It's bad. Are you in the fight, or are you watching the fight? Because these people are in the fight. The other person who is in the fight are these judges. So let me see if I can pull this up. This one just came in 40 minutes ago, 12:55. Obama appointed judge threatens Trump and his team with arrest. So now you're talking about you're going to go arrest Elon Musk, you're going to arrest the DOGE team, and arrest the President of the United States if you don't restore, quote, every last dime of funding that has been paused or canceled. If the president wants to delay any payment, he will need to justify his request to the judge's personal satisfaction. F you, judge. That's where Trump needs to go. Bring it. Who are you sending to arrest me? You want to know now how these people don't give a crap about you? You just found out. I'm going to arrest the President of the United States if he doesn't restore every last dime. Every last dime. I'll let you know how much of your money you can keep. I'm reaching into your heart, into your bank accounts, theoretically, because it's in the Treasury. And I've told the Treasury, you can't do nothing. Don't touch the Treasury. But I'm the Secretary of Treasury. I don't care. And the President, if you don't shut up, we're going to arrest you. And you better restore every single dime. And then you better, if you got a problem, come to me. I'll let you know. He just said it. You just read it. You need to justify your request to my personal satisfaction. I'm sorry, I thought we had an election on November 5th. I thought we were run by 3 different branches of the government. Then another one. The order from Rhode Island Judge John J. McConnell requires the president to resume all pause funding as well as restoring any missed payments. Where's my thing? I gotta play that one. You see what's happening? They want a fight. They want a coup. They want chaos. And they are going to sow it any way they possibly can, even if it means putting President Trump, Elon Musk, the DOGE team in jail if they don't do what I say right friggin' now. People, first of all, today, tomorrow the latest, with what I'm going to show you, get out and get yourself something. And then get yourself something to get in, to put in that something. And get as much of that something that you possibly can. We are headed off a cliff. We are headed to a place this country hasn't been since, 1860s, 1776. We're being forced there. You don't have, not my words, not restore every last dime. And then find the money for the missed payments you made. And if you got a problem, come see me. Bring your butt up here. Come see me. I'll let you know. I can't even believe those words came out of someone's mouth talking to a president. I cannot believe that this guy feels that he has the ability to talk to President Trump in that way. If I was President Trump and I saw that order, I'd be like, who the F does this guy think he is? And then I would spit on it, crumble it up, and say, game on. Bring it. Who are you going to call, Judge? That's why I think we are at the precipice of 1776 or 1860s. That's why I think we're right there. Because when these guys from the bench realize there's no one taking their phone calls. Can't call the U.S. Marshals. Can't call the state police. Can't call the FBI. Can't call the department. Who are you going to call? Yeah, I want, go get Trump and Musk. I just put out a bench warrant. Good luck. Well, that would mean President Trump, would have to watch where he travels because there's some nuts in these blue states that would try and grab him. What would happen if President Trump, I don't know, yesterday was in the Superdome watching the Super Bowl, and if a couple of Louisiana cops felt it was, their time to walk up and put the President of the United States in handcuffs. Oh, you think that's far-fetched, huh? You think that's far-fetched? When you read what he said, a judge has just said it. You don't think there's some people in these blue states that are willing to try and test that? So, you, sitting wherever you are, need to think to yourself, what happens if something like that would happen? Because you need to start doing your own war rooms and war games. It's incredulous. We can all laugh at it. What an idiot. It's happening almost on an hourly basis. Judge after judge after judge. They got nothing. So unless the Supreme Court hurriedly, expeditiously steps in and goes, enough. This isn't what our entire platform is about. You just can't willy-nilly say you're going to arrest the president and then tell the president you need to pay all this money, and if you got a problem, come see. Who are you? can't even imagine the chutzpah, the false promise that you have to utter the words, if you got a problem, come see me. And if you don't do it, I'm going to arrest you. You see, I think they got emboldened by what happened up in New York when Judge Merchan was wielding his court and telling President Trump, I'll put you in jail. I'm going to put a gag order on you. You can't do this. At least at that point, Donald Trump wasn't the president. Now they've taken it to the point where they feel they can tell the president what to do. And you got people in the military saying, hey, we're not going to listen to him if he says this or that. Doesn't that sound to you like this country's coming apart at the seams? And there's so much rot at this point. To me, it does. To me, it says we're this close. We're this close. You see, the Democrats have figured out where they want to go with things. Let me take a few comments from you guys. This won't stop until some arrests start happening. The Supreme Court should step in. Yeah, activist judges. Yep, they jail you for what you say on an effing book in New York. Yep. Does this F-tard know? Where'd that one go? Does this F-tard, where'd that go? I missed it. New York has corrupt elect. This guy's from Rhode Island. Waiting to hear from Bondi. I see a comment. Yep, I see that. The left are far off. They are far off, and your opponent, whatever they do, your opponent becomes the most dangerous when they are desperate. And it's obvious at this point that these people are desperate. They're desperate like I've never seen them desperate. This money pot has got them all freaked out. This money pot and what they've been stealing. You gotta believe that this judge and other judges are also controlled by the people in the shadows, because you don't have it like that to go ahead and threaten a president. He's a lunatic. Send him to jail. Bank runs this week, possibly bank runs. I could see something. These judges are dirty. Imagine, and this is what's really scary, and Trump has said this all along. He has said to us so many times, I'm just in the way. They want you. And what we're finding out right now is they had us. All this money that they've taken, it's your money. And they don't want to give it back. Not only do they not want to give it back, they want to keep stealing it and then steal more. Remember, Kamala was like, we're going to do unrealized capital gains. But I don't even make the money yet. Oh yeah, you still have to pay taxes on it. Man, oh man, oh man. And so now they have decided, in no uncertain terms, that it is incumbent upon them to fight this in the courts, because they figure the courts are the check on President Trump. And you're seeing the judges are feeling like, they've grown a pair and that they're willing to take Trump on. Let's continue with the video.
Is code red. I am ringing the alarm bell. Elon Musk and the guy who wrote Project 2025, Rust Vote, are trying to kill the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. If they succeed, CEOs and Wall Street will once again be free to trick, trap, and cheat you. The CFPB is the little agency working to shut down scams and fraud on payment apps like Zelle and PayPal and Cash App. It's the agency that steps in when the big bank trips up and repossesses your car. It's the agency.
I'm pretty sure the big bank only repossesses your car when you stop paying them. I can't even imagine what it's like to be a lender at all right now. Hey, we're not going to let you repossess the car. Lady, they owe me money. They haven't paid in 4 or 5 months. That's okay. They need the car. I need my money. They feel entitled It completely entitled. So now you're wondering why people have had a hard time getting credit. Well, because you're telling me that this agency that you created will go after lenders that do car loans, and if the people don't pay the car loans, then you're telling me I can't do anything about repossession. You're telling me if I give someone a credit card and they don't pay, I can't turn off their card or something. What happens prior to Trump? What happens if you don't pay your taxes? Did the CFPB step in and go, stop government? They don't have the money. No. We're the government. We have different powers than the people you owe money to. But they gave you the money. You've seen it. Student loan debt. You don't gotta pay that. Don't worry about that. We'll make everybody else pay your debt. They don't believe in enforcement except when they are enforcing. So what she's screaming about is the fact that the CFPB, which has basically been blackmailing corporations and businesses, they tore it apart. You're done. And she's fighting and saying no. So what is going on in government right now is we're finding out that the Democrats and these judges believe everything in government stays in government. Nothing can be changed. Nothing can be closed. No reduction in money. No reduction in staff. Nothing. You can't change anything, is their perspective. We have built this to a point so that we could steal as much money as possible and that you could never say enough's enough. And there's no way a president could ever say enough's enough. And your Republican senators and congressmen aren't fighting these people to tell bat poop crazy Elizabeth Warren, no, we're not going to do this. Again, I've got Fox running right now. I can see in the board if somebody's face pops up. Nope. But if you turn on MSNBC, somebody will be on there talking about some craziness, talking to their people over and over and over. J.D. Vance is over in France talking to Paris at a meeting. But other than J.D. Vance and or President Trump, you hardly see any of the Republican politicians. I understand tonight at 7 o'clock, Nancy Mace is giving a big speech, and she's labeling it a big speech. And this big speech that she's given has nothing to do with what's going on. It's a big speech about, abuse of women and things of that nature. What about this stuff? What about these judges? Anna Paulina Luna, she has a big one coming up Wednesday, and it's supposedly about oversight, so we'll hear what that one's about. But why are you waiting? Every minute you wait, these people are going to court ripping us apart. I don't get it.
That's working to cut those crazy fees that banks and credit card companies bury down in the fine print, and then you got to pay for them. Already, this little agency has forced giant banks and corporations to give back more than $21 billion directly to families they cheated. And that includes hundreds of millions of dollars back for veterans who got cheated by predatory lenders. So why are these two guys trying to gut the CFPB? Not rocket science. Trump campaigned on helping working people, but now that he's in charge, this is the payoff to the rich guys who invested in his campaign and who want to cheat families and not have anybody around to stop them. Yeah, it's another scam. After the 2008 financial crash and the big bank bailout, Congress created the CFPB to protect people from getting swindled. For years, Republicans have tried and tried.
As I watch her, and you guys watch me do these videos, If you feel passionate about something and it's being truthful, why do you need 35 jump cut edits and you got to keep looking down? Because you're fake. If you believe in the CFPB and what they've done, you should be at least able to get through a 90-second video without 35 cuts. You should be able to look in the camera and say, here's what I did with this agency, here's why I need this agency, and here's why it's good for you, and here's why President Trump is tearing it down. If you just tell you those things, those four bullet points in your head, just cover each one of them. But you don't believe what you're saying, except for the first part of what she said is, quote, we forced corporations to give back whatever that number was. How did you force them? How did you walk into a building and say, I am going to force you to say uncle and give me this money? And please, just like fair share, I'm in real estate, please tell me what the hell predatory lending is. That's another term you can ask someone in government or Democrat and say to them, can you define predatory lending? Is it like a mob set and the guy takes your hand and says you need to... What? Every mortgage I've ever received, applied for, every mortgage anybody I know has ever received or applied for is of their own free will. Hey, listen, I'd like to buy a house. Cool. I'm going to offer this much for it. I got this much for a down payment. Got it. I'd like to get a mortgage for X dollars. All right, let's run your credit. And here's the interest rate and stuff based upon your down payment and your credit. And we're going to offer you a mortgage of $100,000 at 6% over 30 years. Mr. Smith, would you like this loan? What she makes it sound like is you need to take this loan because we need to charge you this interest. There's no such thing as a predatory loan. Nobody preyed on anybody. The only way you get a mortgage is to apply and accept it and then sign for the deal. That is another false term by Democrats. Predatory lending. And it has become a part of their nomenclature at this point to be able to spew out at any time. Predatory lending, predatory. So you gave money to, and this is what some of them have said, you gave somebody a loan that you knew couldn't afford the loan and couldn't afford to pay it back. Have you ever done that? Other than a family member. Have you ever given somebody a loan that you knew doesn't have the ability to pay you back? No. It says no one ever, other than a family member. Here's $500. I know you can't pay me back, but let's see this time. Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I might get lucky. I'll roll the dice. Maybe you might pay me back. No. So how is it predatory? Who steps up to a table and says that? Hey, man, I don't think this dude's got a job. I'm not sure he's going to be able to pay me back. Let's give him the money, see what happens. These people are some of the most insane people walking this earth. Because some of them actually believe that insanity. Some of them actually believe that there are lenders out there who are giving people loans who they know can't afford it. Now, in 2007 and 2008, there may have indeed been people giving out loans to people they knew can't afford it. Do you know why? Because the government was saying you ain't giving enough loans out to black people in these neighborhoods and everything else, but they can't qualify. Can they fog a mirror? Yeah, give them a loan. And then what happened? Because she mentioned 2008. What happened? People who should not have gotten loans all of a sudden couldn't pay for those loans, or they had, adjustable rate mortgages. And then when they had the adjustment happen and they had to pay more each month, I'm giving you the loan because the government is guaranteeing it because you can't pay it back. And then when you can't pay it back and I go ahead and foreclose on you, I'm the bad guy. Miss Senator Warren? Yeah. Leroy here should have never got that loan except for you told me I had to give it to him. And now you're pissed at me because I'm foreclosing on the house. And then you had to bail out the banks. And the only reason you had to bail out the banks is because you made the banks give these bad loans. Don't get me started.
And to repeal it in Congress. And they have failed every single time. Congress built the CFPB, and no one other than Congress, not the president, not Musk, not Vogt, can shut it down. There is power in fighting back. Power. We will not let up in Congress or the courts until we win this fight. So please, call your representative and most of all, get the word out. We are here to fight for the little agency that fights for us.
Most people in this country probably have no idea what CFPB is. Why? Because most people in this country don't use something like that. It is a cudgel. It is a tool to beat people over the head. It basically is Al Sharpton for white people, for Elizabeth Warren, to go and shake down companies. And so at this point, people just don't lend in these areas. It's crazy, absolutely crazy how these things work. The only thing I see that's predatorial is USAID. It took everyone's money and you didn't know about it until recently. We never heard a word about it. Right now, as we speak, Trump is in, or not, he's not, but someone's in court arguing about the buyouts of the people that they want to get rid of. Hey, everybody say, why isn't she working? I don't know. Elon is hiring 45 more DOGE workers. They know that. Think about it, Debbie Dewey. To normal people, this is quite bizarre. You're sitting back going, I don't get it. You've taken this a country and go, turn it upside down. Again, shake the snow globe. Because everything that you guys did was to the benefit of the Democrats and liberals. The Republicans let it happen. And they've ensconced these things in webs, as you've seen. $178,000 from the VA to Politico. And people didn't know. If it was so great, why did you hide all this money going to all these NGOs? Why did it take guys that can devise code and create all kinds of algorithms? It took that to uncover what you guys have done. That's why I'm saying we are on the precipice, people. We are on the precipice. So let me tell you guys something else real quick here. A lot of people have texted me, hit me up on X, and talked about this thing with Josh Shapiro. And Josh Shapiro potentially being involved in the assassination attempt on President Trump in Butler, Pennsylvania on July 13th. There has appeared to be an affidavit and a complaint that somebody swore out saying they know all about this plan. Reason why I haven't talked about it yet is because while you can verify that somebody swore out the complaint, while you can verify the reaction from the district attorney in the area who basically said go pound sand, we cannot, as of right now, I'm not one of these guys who can dig in this way or choose not to. Even Alex Jones said, I got to go check this out. We don't know if the story is true or some nut went into the police department and swore out an affidavit. So this is one of those things I tell you guys all the time. I like to give things the 24, 48 hour pause rule, the timeout. Let things flesh out. Don't be so quick to go ahead and spread a story that is completely disinformation. Let the people who, like Alex Jones, James O'Keefe, let them dig into this and find out if this thing has any legs. If it has legs, you're going to know. If it has legs, the people who will find out for sure will indeed tell you this is real. We've talked to this dude. We've interviewed him. We understand where he's coming from. But right now, I'm not touching it yet because I don't feel confident in telling you this is true. I can tell you specifically the affidavit is true, that somebody did sign it and take an oath and say, these are my words. I can tell you that it did reach the district attorney in that area. I can tell you that. Those are true and confirmed. Can I tell you that the person who swore out the affidavit is on the up and up? Can't tell you that. So that's why I haven't gone deep in it, because I don't like to be the one out there just blah, 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 and then have to come back and go, oh, guy was a fruitcake. Don't want to do that. All right, be right back. As you know, President Trump has assembled the Avengers to make America great again. And of course, we're all excited and ready to see them get to work. But with everything we're seeing right now, don't take your eye off the ball. Things could get much worse before they get better. With the possibility of World War III still looming, and with the Democrats doing everything they can to impede Trump, you still need to keep your guard up and your money protected. Oh, and our national debt is still massively increasing. Don't get me wrong, I have high hopes for Trump's America, but I also have a family to look out for. You see, Trump and the Avengers have quite the uphill battle ahead. That's why I'm making sure I'm protected, and I'm recommending that you do the same. One way to be protected is by diversifying your portfolio. That's why on this channel I've been happy to partner with Lear Capital. As you know, I've been involved in real estate for quite some time, and although I dabbled in gold and silver, Kevin and his staff at Lear have helped to educate me even further, especially in regards to silver. Give Lear a call today and they'll show you how easy it is to move some of your savings or your retirement account into gold and silver. Gold and silver have been proven to hold value and protect wealth for the long term. Call Lear today at 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com to get your free gold and silver wealth protection guides. There's no obligation, just free information. Many of you have seen my interviews with Lear founder Kevin Demerit, and I can tell you this company is solid and likes to educate their customers. Just so you know, Lear has over 27 years of experience, thousands of 5-star reviews, and over $3 billion in trusted transactions, and is the only company with a 24-hour risk-free purchase. You don't pay unless you're 100% satisfied. So call 800-601-5430 or go to learberry.com. And when you call, don't forget to ask how you can get up to $15,000 in bonus gold or silver with a qualifying purchase. So if you'd like to take advantage of this opportunity, please call my friends at Lear Capital at 800-601-5430 and tell them Barry sent you. All right, so Jonathan Turley is on right now on Fox, and he's talking about this case. I thought it might be interesting. Let's listen a little bit, if I can get him in time here, about this case.
They would resign if they could have those months to look for a new job.
Yeah, and this argument that Senator Warner was making was, how is he going to fund this? Well, as long as Congress appropriates money at the current levels, the money will be there to pay these folks through until the end of the fiscal year. The Vice President, J.D. Vance, who's over in Paris for an AI summit, says judges are not allowed to control Trump's, quote, legitimate power. He said this, quote, if a judge tried to tell a general how to conduct a military operation, that would be illegal. If a judge tried to command the attorney general and how to use her discretion as a prosecutor, that's also illegal. Judges aren't allowed to control the executive's legitimate power. Now, you can say that, but at the same time, there were plenty of executive orders that Biden was trying to get through. They got blocked by judges as well. So what's the difference here?
That's right. And I think that this will all shake out with something in the middle, that you do have to comply with federal laws. You do have to deal with appropriated money in the way that it was appropriated to be used. All of that has to shake out. I think these federal judges, however, have gone too far. I think that they are really butting up against Article 2, the inherent powers of the presidency. And the argument that you're going to shut down the government coming from Democratic members because of these policies is curious. I mean, the Democrats are threatening people that want less government with shutting down the government. That's like threatening a vegan that you're going to impose a beef ban. I mean, it's not going to be particularly effective. In fact, it may be celebrated. So I think that much of this is atmospheric. So I think that what you're going to see as these cases play out is that these judges have gone too far. It does not mean that all of these claims are meritless. There are federal laws that must be complied with. But the sweeping aspects of this, barring all Treasury officials from seeing material, for example, I think is going to fall badly when it gets to review by the appellate courts. You can't sweep that broadly. The president has authority to run the executive branch.
Yeah, which in fact brings me to my next point, which is that Trump is urgently trying to overturn the ban on the funding freeze. Saying this in a DOJ filing, basic democratic accountability requires that every executive agency's work be supervised by politically accountable leadership who ultimately answer to the president. I mean, sorry, that's the ban on being allowed to see the Treasury payment system. But at the same time as that is going on, a judge in Rhode Island just ordered the Trump administration again to lift the freeze on funding. So how is all that in your mind going to shake out?
Well, once again, I don't see the way that a federal judge under Article 3 can limit Article 2 powers to this extent. A president is allowed to conduct an audit when he comes into office. He is allowed to slow down payments while he reviews them. It's well known that all administrations, including the Biden administration, often force through a lot of spending efforts right before they leave office. A new president's allowed to examine all of that. Now, does that mean that they can cut off funds that are appropriated for their specific purposes? No, it doesn't. But they are allowed to look at how they're being spent. That is the discretion afforded to a president. So I think once again it's going to shake out. But this federal judge went pretty far. Now, this is a temporary injunction. So presumably the Department of Justice is going to come in and say, look, he's allowed to do this. This is how we're going to proceed. And we'll stay within these navigational beacons.
Yeah. Well, this judge in Rhode Island, I guess the spirit of his order was that you can't freeze all funds while you look for waste. If you look for waste and you find it, then you can freeze those funds. One other.
If you look for waste and then you find a waste, then you can freeze it. $178,000 to the VA, to Politico, yeah, that's waste. $20 million to a drag show in over there, yeah, that's waste. One thing Jonathan didn't hit on, and I love Jonathan, he's a great constitutional attorney, but he's not a criminal attorney. And the thing that I think that Pam Bondi and Elon and President Trump are going to do is they are going to allege criminal activity. Because if the algorithm and the AI can find out where money actually went, and it's money that went to Chelsea Clinton, $84 million. Money for her wedding. No, Congress did not appropriate $84 million to Chelsea Clinton. And on top of all this, and here's where to me it gets really, really in the weeds. All these judges and all these current politicians, this is really important. They're talking about people who are in office now and deals that were cut, on an ongoing basis. The DOGE people have looked at things that went back decades. And so in order for those things to continue, the only people who can really defend that are going to be the Department of Justice, because now they're going to allege criminality. There is no way this Congress appropriated $84 million to Chelsea Clinton. There's nobody would say that. Nobody would say, let's give Chelsea Clinton $10 million for her wedding. No, that would never have gotten passed. And so that's where it's going to hinge when they start saying it's not just waste, it's theft. And then Katie barred the door on these people. I mean, absolutely go. Katie barred the door. Elon Musk. Elon Musk just posted something and basically telling Elizabeth Warren she can go pound sand. See, this is one of the reasons why these people are so pissed off. You've got President Trump and Elon who have long passed the point of F around and find out. They don't care. He posted that. He posted CFPB RIP with a gravestone to the world, to his 200 million followers. Wow. So let's talk about CFPB again, because we just got done watching her. This is from Russ Vought. Russ Vought is the OMB director who oversees CFPB. He sent out this: please do not perform any work tasks and only handle urgent matters with written approval, which is basically shutting down the CFPB. Otherwise, employees should stand down from performing any work task. The CFPB has been a woke and weaponized agency against disfavored industries and individuals for a long time. This must end. Okay, got it. Fight. Gotta bring it. Where's it gonna go? Right to court. All of this stuff is gonna go right to court. And I feel at this point that Trump is basically saying, let's go, because of what Elon has found here. This is a great statement. Elon says the system isn't broken. What you're seeing aren't, incompetence. You're not seeing things that shouldn't have been done a certain way. It's not a bug. It's a feature. They built the entire system for fraud. No, let me stop right there. Because that one sentence, it was built for fraud. Didn't say misappropriation, didn't say, Congress did set fraud, criminal, blinking red light. You can see the first sentence, it's built for fraudsters. This is where it's gonna clash, and where it's really gonna be problematic for them, because at this point they are now alleging criminality on a mass scale. Elon suggests corruption isn't a bug in the system, it's actually the feature. It was designed to steal your money. You couldn't have done this by accident. When fraud runs rampant, people assume the system failed, but what if it's working exactly as it was designed? From government waste to financial loopholes, the biggest scams don't happen by accident. They happen because the system allows them to. It's time to ask who benefits from all this fraud. And then you've got bug, feature, design. So I'm gonna wager a little prediction here. You ready for this? You probably won't hear anybody go out on this. It's not the courts in federal districts who are going to solve this. It is not going to be something that and I think President Trump is playing along. What is about to happen, in my estimation, looking from 30,000 feet, is that this is going to be a criminal matter. You see these district judges who are like, you can't turn off the money because blah, 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 blah. And then Jonathan Turley, who you just said, they can do it if they find waste. And what John Roberts didn't ask Turley was, well, what if you find fraud? What if it's a criminal enterprise? What if they put all of this together and we can allege and begin arresting people for what they've done? They built this system to deceive and steal from Americans. That is the key. I'm not a lawyer, but I'm telling you, my feeling at this point, and you can get other people to think about it, is Pam Bondi's been very, very quiet. Very, very quiet. And when you start digging into this, and you start, you get a guy whose current job, current task is to find out what happened. Essentially do an autopsy on everything. Uh-oh, I might be busy. Looks like the Senate will hold a hearing on Tulsi Gabbard tonight. So if he's alleging fraud, he's already told Trump it's fraud. What's Trump said? Trump said, we caught him. Telling somebody I caught you doesn't mean I see what you've been doing and sending money to Pakistan and everywhere else. I caught you means I caught you doing a crime. So maybe what we're going to see, and I predict it will happen, is over the next couple weeks, because I think this is all diversionary, Pam Bondi is going to come out with some sweeping indictments. She may already be talking to a grand jury, because all this information, the other guy's like, delete it all, because he knows where it's headed. Why would anybody tell someone to delete all the evidence? Have you thought about that? Why would I tell you, throw it away, delete it, ixnay, get rid of it? I'm ordering you to get rid of the evidence or get rid of the data because you don't want anybody else to see it. Because as a judge, you realize looking at this going, oh crap, if this lands in front of a grand jury, we're all going to hang. Yeah. Yes, Pam Bondi is the key here. Maybe even a little bit of Kash Patel, but there's some investigative stuff obviously going on in the background because Elon Musk wouldn't be putting this stuff out. That's what you have to realize. When you read that and the big, bold letters, fraud. Not waste. Fraud. If I look at you and you work with me and I call you incompetent, oh, that might be a lawsuit. If you work with me and I said you embezzled, you stole money, that's a whole different department of law over here. Oh, that's just not civil. You can go to do whatever lawsuit you want. I'm going to the prosecutor and I'm filing charges against you for stealing from my company. Now, everything changes. Once it becomes a criminal investigation, these judges are going to have to step off. Oh, there's a crime happening? It's a crime scene. So and there's a few other people are saying it, seeing what they're saying here, and again, to me, it goes back to what President Trump said. We caught them. We caught them. The man chooses his words wisely. He doesn't just say things off the cuff. You've heard him say it. Not my words. In fact, I still think I have a video of him saying it. We caught him. Just said it like a couple weeks ago. Wasn't it? I'm not even talking about the campaign trail. He said it a couple weeks ago. We caught them. Yeah, PC warrants. Maximum PC warrants. We don't have enough prison cells for all of this. They are all criminals. That by doing that, and those of you who may be law enforcement, it's a whole different thing. I can have an argument with my wife. I can look to divorce my wife, and it goes to this kind of court. If I walk out in the living room and punch her in the head, that's a whole different court. This guy here, I got nothing to say about it. You hit her. So now you got to go with these guys and enjoy your new jewelry. Different thing. Same people. Oh, honey, you suck. I want to get out of here. I don't want to be married to you anymore. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, well, let's go to court and let's sue each other. Yeah, he punched me in the head. Oh, different people come. This is going to get crazy. You better be ready. No more prisons, build gallows. This is 10,000 plus deep. Yep. And so I almost think that all of this, what we're seeing, is a diversion. Given what we've heard, if they've game planned this correctly, the part that they didn't game plan is what happens with the grand jury. And who knows where she'll impanel a grand jury. She may not impanel a grand jury in Washington. I don't know. But, good point, Jesse. The social contract is broken. Right now, because none of us believe none of us believe what we're hearing. And that's the worst part, is that we've lost our trust in government. And now what we're also seeing is we've lost trust in the judiciary, which is probably even worse. Because now we know that these people are all in on the scam. So I'm looking at the screen, seeing if he's coming out or doing anything. Nothing yet. So let's continue. And as you hear these videos, listen to what these nuts are saying. Look past, and how they're trying to incite people. Check this out.
Administration chair trying to reduce the size of federal government as much as it can, but is it clear the people who are doing this fully understand the consequences? I mean, for example, are they not concerned about the national security implications of offering those deferred resignations to the CIA, or the global impacts of shutting down the U.S. Agency for International Development?
You see, this is I think the mistake that a lot of people are making. This is not a good faith effort to reform our government and make it more efficient. This is a full-on assault on the way our democracy works and the way our government functions. It is a full-on decapitation, so that a small number of people like Elon Musk and the billionaire class and friends of Donald Trump, or people who are using Trump as a puppeteer to gain control of our federal government for their own ill-gotten gains. Like, this is not about the American people. This is not about what's...
If she really believed that, she would actually quote some of what you and I have seen. Again, my attention that I'm drawing to you is they don't talk about the crime, they talk about the appearance. This doesn't look good, and Trump's just helping his billionaire buddies and blah, blah, blah. What about $178,000 to Politico from the Veterans Administration? What about $59 million from FEMA to a Pakistani hotel? Nothing? Can we talk about that? How is it a threat on our democracy? Our democracy has nothing to do with $59 million being sent to some hotel in New York to house newcomers that is owned by the Pakistani government. I'm here. Tell me. I don't get you.
Best for America. You think it's best for America for Elon Musk and his teenage and college grad group of DOGE guys running around in our sensitive systems and having access to these things is best for the United States government and our democracy and for the average American? It's not.
I don't even know sometimes if these people know what they're saying. They have been told to talk about puppeteers. She mentioned that Trump was a puppeteer or a puppet. When you're just out there rapidly saying stuff that you know is not true, you are the puppet. How? Again, some people have asked me, can you bring on some liberals to talk? Okay. What exactly are you talking about? Tell me how this affects our, quote, democracy. Even though it's a republic, but I'll go with your terms. How does finding out where waste and corruption and possible criminality affect the democracy? Wouldn't you want to know about potential criminality? I'm talking to you as an American. Isn't that the essence of what law enforcement's supposed to do? Don't you care if money was misappropriated and came out of your family's pockets? So it's worse that these kids are there and it doesn't matter what they're finding? These are easy questions to ask somebody. People on television, again, they're trying to drum stuff up, but it's falling on deaf ears.
People need to really understand what's happening. I think the shock and awe of what's happening is taking some people by surprise. Many of us, it's not, because we warned against this. They wrote an entire manual called Project 2025 to tell us what they were doing. It is all under the auspices of government efficiency, but that's BS, and we know it. There's nothing efficient about any of this. This is...
I'm sorry. There's nothing efficient about any of this. Grandiose statements, superlatory in nature, but you're not addressing what's been found. I'll keep saying it until one of these Democrats comes out and says, maybe we shouldn't have sent $59 million from FEMA. Maybe we should have sent $20 million to make Sesame Street for Iraqis. Maybe we should have spent $10 million trying to turn rats into Transformers. Pick one. Pick one. You will not hear a single transfer, a single wire transfer being discussed by any of these people.
This is a full-on assault, and it's not something that I think the average American is going to fully appreciate until they feel enough pain. When people voted...
Sometimes you have to look around and go, are you punking me? Is this candid camera? Is this thing on? Oh, until they feel enough pain. Wait a second. So, 4 years of tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars being sent to God knows where, that cause us to have to give more and more of our tax dollars to you people. Well, I don't know if she's in Congress, but she's in the media. To you people. You don't think we felt the pain? You don't think last 4 years under the dementia patient we have felt pain? I'm pretty sure every single person watching this video can say, yeah, I felt the pain. Ooh, yeah, I felt the pain. Scratching, clawing, trying to catch a grip here.
For change, they were just voting against the status quo. They weren't voting for this. And I think it's important that we frame it that way. We can't normalize this as just being in, well, some people are coming in and they established a blue ribbon commission to study the, some waste, fraud, and abuse, and we're going to, be very prudent in how we apply this. This is a full-scale decapitation of our federal government and how it works. And not only that, it's a dangerous undermining of our national security space. Did most Americans who are worried about the affordability of eggs and inflation, did they vote to have our CIA and FBI and our national security space infiltrated by people who have no accountability, who weren't elected, who have no expertise in this area, and who are ripping it apart for what? For their own billionaire oligarchy, and Donald Trump's letting them do it. We cannot allow it. And a Seneca Project is we're trying to put information out so people understand that and fully appreciate why this matters and why they have to stand up and fight back, including members of Congress.
So
you know what the funniest part of what she just said, or the funniest part of this whole segment, and you see this on CNN and all these, she's supposedly a Republican. The woman you just heard talking is supposedly a Republican. Some of the most insane people on these networks, Michael Steele, Nicole Wallace, that woman, Jennifer Rubin, Max Boot, some of the most insane people on cable TV, Bill Kristol, are supposedly Republicans. They are the biggest recipients of the grift. They are the biggest recipients of defending the deep state. They are paid puppets. They're calling other people puppets. They are paid puppets to get out there and spew this stuff. She said, American people didn't vote for this. Yeah, we did. We knew specifically what this man said he was going to do. We didn't know he was going to be able to do it like this. We're like, woo, man, you're kicking butt and taking names. But I guess you didn't listen closely when he said, I'm going to obliterate the deep state. You guys thought it was a campaign slogan. We took it as, good luck, get it done. We'd love to see it. And so everything you're seeing, it just doesn't sink into these people. Did you guys really want this? Yes. If you stepped out of your bubble and talked to one of us, you would hear us say, yes, this is specifically what we wanted to happen. All of it. In fact, we want more. That's the part they don't get. We're salivating. Give us more. Take it down as much as you can. Rip it to the shreds. Take it down to the studs. Do whatever you need to do. Stop this crap. They don't understand that. They think, we're surprised. These Trump supporters didn't want this kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, yes, we did.
To that, Secretary, is using Guantanamo Bay as a mass detention center for migrants, is that a realistic plan logistically, in addition to the humanitarian concerns? By the way, a former State Department official called it, frankly, insane.
Mm-hmm.
You're asking if it's logistically possible to move newcomers down to Guantanamo. Yet just 90 days, you had an app by the former president that was flying people into this country from all over the world. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sometimes these people catch me and I'm like, you, they really think you're stupid. You all know about the CB1 app. You know they were flying newcomers in and out of the country from God knows where. They could just go on the app and book a flight for, oh, it wasn't for free. You were paying for it. How is that logistically working? So the military taking people from airports and taking them to Guantanamo, oh, that's a logistical nightmare. But flying them all in from other countries, oh yeah, that works great. Keep it going. We'd love to see that. You're not supposed to think of these things or remember them. I can't believe that came out of her mouth. I'm watching it and I rewound it like 3 times. Like, did she just say it's logistically not good to take the newcomers to Gitmo? 90 miles off the coast of South Florida? But at the same time, it was okay to fly them all in here? Yeah, she actually said that.
Yeah, and here's the through line, Alex, is just like Trump put out this number of we're going to do mass deportations and get millions of people, and they're finding that that's actually not feasible. That's not practical either with the funding or with the personnel in the federal government right now. That's also not practical or feasible at Guantanamo that, as I understand, can only house a few hundred people right now. And so they're going to have to try and do these makeshift facilities. But
a few hundred people, he says. A few hundred people to Guantanamo Bay. Obviously, he's never seen what's been going on there.
Then that is not going to be enough if 30,000 people is the number that you're trying to get there. It makes no sense. It's wasting taxpayer dollars. It's going to turn out to be cruel for the people who are there, and also going to, I think, wrap in people that are not criminals. And so all around, it's incompetence, it's cruelty, it's waste of dollars, it's everything that voters should be upset about, and I think they are going to be upset about this.
Yeah, but what about the people you flew? How do you think they got here? How do you think they got here? So I want to put up this comment because it's I keep telling y'all, Barry, I can't watch these lying lowlifes anymore. They don't realize no one believes them anymore. Going to play some guitar and bring my pressure back down. I don't know how to keep telling you guys this. I really don't. There are people who believe them. They're talking to a very specific audience. That audience that they're speaking to does indeed believe this is true. The reason why this is important for you to absorb and to continually absorb, because you are in a fight. And if you don't know what your opponent is doing, you are not armed. You don't have the tools if you aren't constantly training. You can't go, I can't listen to these nuts anymore. Oh no, these nuts are aggregating and coming together to beat you. They are coming together and coalescing to take your money, to take your children's livelihoods away. These people would no sooner look at you than rip your throat out. And maybe not this guy specifically, but the people who follow him do. And so if you don't, at this point, begin taking it upon yourself, not to laugh at them, not to shrug, but to try and reach out to as many people as possible and say, hey, they're lying to you. Like you just said, I can't take these lying people anymore. Well, some people do think they're telling the truth. Donald Trump is not going to win this, and this country is not going to survive unless tens of millions of you motivate, and get in the game. You don't have the option of putting it on a shelf. And I'm not saying you have to dwell on it 24/7, but you just can't turn away from it. Understand the guy that you voted for, and put in office, can he do this? Can he say one morning, I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear it anymore. Can he say that? Would you expect him to? He has said to us, which is one of the reasons why I started this channel, I need you out there. Because they're not coming for me, they're coming for you. And what you're saying is, hey, I'm tired, I'm gonna watch something else because these people, they lie too much. The lie is the veneer you're seeing. The intent is what you need to pay attention to. The intent is what's fueling the lies. You see, it would be very boring to me, and it would actually be quite revealing to me, is if I heard one of these guys say, listen, all right, so we spent $20 million on a drag show in Iraq. That might have been a mistake. Trump has something with that. So we need to make sure we work with him to try and move these budgets into things that actually make sense, that can further blah, 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 blah. Cool. You're getting it. You're understanding that this stuff is crazy. These people haven't admitted it. There's not a single one who's admitted we shouldn't be doing things this way. There's not a single one who says maybe we took too much of your money and we don't need it. There's not a single one of them who has said, you know what, your idea about no tax on tips, yeah, I could work with you on that. Not a single one has said, you know what, the idea you had about helping Americans keep more of their money, you know, no tax on overtime, yeah, let's work on that together. I could literally do that for an hour. So when you tell me they're liars and I ain't got time for it, I can't do that. There's a reason why I do 2 shows a day most days. As tired as I am sometimes, I'm like, Rob, I got to go do another show because I see what people are saying and I want to show you. And what I'm going to show you in a little while is going to really be a slap upside your damn heads. These people are coming for you. And I'm not saying that to no, I am saying it. I am saying it to alarm you. You don't know what you're getting into. Especially if you're willing to look the other way.
The truth about Guantanamo and the entire mass deportation effort comes more to light in the months ahead.
Okay.
What I'm thinking about and talking to, my friends at Democracy Defenders and other lawyers about is, could there be a nationwide class action lawsuit to follow up on last week's victories against Musk, against the Trump administration for this breach in computer security and the data of all American taxpayers? It could be a class action suit on behalf of all Americans if the Proud Boys.
This idiot wants to have a class action lawsuit against the government that he's in, but he wants to focus it on Trump on behalf of all Americans. Even if most of the Americans voted for this. I just can't.
And the Oath Keepers want to opt out, and they don't want their part of the money for the contamination of their data. Fine, they can opt out. But really, it's a suit on behalf of everybody because that's our information. Right. It doesn't belong to Elon Musk or his little midnight crew. It belongs to the people, and the government has to hold it in trust. Now, there's specific statutes which say that information can only be accessed for tax purposes, for the purposes of the Internal Revenue System, and for no other purposes. What are they using that information for?
And in this nation,
All right. So he wants to have a lawsuit wherein everybody can benefit. And I don't know if you heard part of what he said, the last part, or maybe you didn't understand what he said. He's like, if the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers don't want it and don't want to be involved, and they don't get, quote, his exact word was, any of the money. So they want to sue Trump's administration for a financial reward to give to people who participate in the lawsuit, which essentially is a friggin' tax. Let's say they sue the government, and let's say they get a, I don't know, $300 million judgment. And they're telling these people, the nuts and other people, whatever money we get, we're going to split with you. And people are like, yeah, go get Trump. Get that $300 million. Where are you getting it from? Oh, you're suing the government, which means we got to pay for it. But the idiots who are supporting you don't realize they're actually paying for their own judgment. I told you they're stupid. But they do it so well with the forked tongues that people don't understand it. If you sue somebody and win, number one, you got to try and collect. But if you try to collect, who are you collecting from? Hey, we're going to give you $200 or $300 million split amongst a whole bunch of people. Where are you getting it from? Oh, the other Americans. That's some thinking right there, isn't it? All right, so some of you may be interested in this. Just in breaking news, Big Balls is back, and he has a new important role at the State Department and has his own government email address right now. He's now a government expert. Oh man, they're trolling these people so bad. It's not, they can't even deal with it. Big Balls is back. Elon Musk posts this. Among many other things, DOGE today canceled a $17 million project to provide tax policy advice to Liberia. Why would anyone think that is a good use of your tax money? Because they don't. It's not about whether it's a good use of our tax money. Somebody's getting paid. And you won't see that on CNN or MSNBC at all saying, hey, maybe we shouldn't be sending $17 million to Liberia. Nope, it's democracy. But what happens when all of this doesn't work? When eventually it goes through the court system and they get spanked? When more and more people begin seeing what's happening and decide, you know what? I'm okay with what Trump's doing. I think he is doing a great thing. I think he's winning, as we say. I think this is going to make America great again. What happens when he gets to, 75% approval and it just keeps growing? Well, at that point, the only answer, the only tool that remains for them is violence. So the other gentleman who said, I can't look at this anymore. It's boring. They're liars. Well, I'm going to show you something right now some of you may have seen. And this one, might be 90-second clip, should tell you, oh my God, number one, pray. And number two, buy your stuff. And realize this is going to a place of complete darkness. Now I'm going to play you this clip that's been going around X. This is a preacher in yesterday's church service. A church service, I believe it was in Tennessee. I don't know his name. This is a preacher in the pulpit.
Worried that we are on the verge of bloodshed. This is an attempt to take us back to a day that we do not want to go, and we will not go. Therefore, there will be conflict. I pray that the peace of God will win out and overcome the madness that is attempting to take over this nation. And I will say to you, beloved, no one likes violence, but sometimes violence is necessary. When Elon Musk forces his way into the United States Treasury and threatens to steal your personal information and your Social Security check, there is a possibility of violence. Sometimes the devil will act so ugly that you have no other choice but to get violent and fight. Well, someone might say, now, Reverend, you shouldn't be talking about violence. This isn't the Christian thing to do. Well, I will say, why not talk this way? Because Jesus did. Jesus said in this key verse, didn't he? The kingdom of heaven suffers what? Violence. And the who? The violent take it by force. The kingdom of God is a war zone. It is a battlefield. You did know this, right?
You see what they're doing, right? You see what's happening. They are summoning the orcs. They are laying the foundation of complete annihilation. They are reaching the end game. They are not going to stop. They are just getting revved up. It's only been, 21 days. And you see where they're already headed. They're already comfortable standing in the pulpit of a church during a sermon and telling the people in the audience, time for you to get ugly. Time for you to go after these people. You have to get violent. He feels comfortable enough on a televised sermon to tell people in that audience, now's the time. And yet there's people on our side who aren't watching, who aren't taking it seriously, who are looking the other way and go, I can't take these nuts anymore. Well, what are you going to do when it shows up on your doorstep? Overly dramatic? No, I live in a gated community. We have a guard up there. I remember Robin saying something to me. She goes, well, there's one guard. If 10 guys show up in the back of a pickup truck and decide they're going to take a life, they're in. And I was like, wow, so you're telling me we have a false sense of security? It's like, it's one kid. It's one guy. 20-something-year-old guy sitting in there, listening to music and like, yeah, can I see your ID? Yeah. Now they're in that quick. And they're listening to pastors like that who are telling them, do what you need to do. These Republicans, they're bad, bad, bad people. And they want to take Granny's money. And they want to take the food stamps out of little Johnny's mouth. They want to make sure that you can't eat. You can't do anything. They want to take old people's Social Security. I've seen it in here. People freak out. What do you mean? They might take my Social? Just the mere fact that they say that is freaking people out. And we have pacifists on our side who are like, oh, I'm not worried about this. I'm gonna go watch TV or go fishing. I would hate to log on one day and find out that something like October 7th happened in a neighborhood somewhere. I watch videos all day. I scan, I look, and I'm watching women, I'm watching men in places that they thought they were safe. Shopping at a grocery store, walking down the street. Just getting brutalized. Never see it coming. And I think to myself, every time Robin leaves the house, I'm like, baby, please be safe. Because you don't see it coming. Saw one thing today, the guy was in a convenience store, he was talking on his phone, and the 2 or 3 nuts came in, took his phone and beat him senseless. Just because they wanted that phone and he was of the wrong persuasion. When you get people willing to stand up in a church, and say stuff like that, you know things aren't what we're used to. Things are very, very different. And it's scary. I don't like walking around being scared. It's not a place to be, but it's weird, isn't it? It's very, very weird. And you can tell these people are getting desperate. Yep, crime is rampant. Yeah, can you believe he said that in a pulpit? I cannot believe. Let's see here. See, I get this kind of stuff all the time. No, he is lying. Jesus did not say that. Shameful. Jesus said, "Give Caesar what is Caesar's. Turn the other cheek." This is evil personified. What's that? I can't. This is God isn't going to be pleased with this. Pretty simple. Yep, you heard it, Lisa. Straight up. And I'm seeing somebody comments like, "Mary, prosecution's coming." I hope there's some prosecutions coming. I really do. Was that Reverend Wright? No, that wasn't him. Bingo. There. I mean, I just saw that they are inciting a revolution. There's too much going on. Too much that's happening right now. And I saw a comment and went by too fast, and it was like I'm over amplifying things. I'm like, okay, if you don't think what they're doing, if you think this is normal activity, there's nothing I can do about it. Hopefully there's some of you out there who realize where we are, that this is the possibility of the insane stuff that's about to happen. Let me talk to you a couple more things here. They're seeing these kind of numbers. Mark Mitchell from Rasmussen, who I had on the show last week, two of 3 nights in, and guess what? Voters approve of DOGE by 11 points right now, and he's working on a poll, and hopefully when he's done, we can get him back in here. But as of right now, it's up by 11 points. People approve of DOGE. That means the desperation is setting in. They know at this point America is turning to supporting DOGE. And then Richard Barris, the other pollster I like, he goes, "As it turns out, the idea of a president finally keeping a promise to cut spending, going to waste, fraud, and corruption is popular. Who would have thought? Not sure the Krats and their Democratic Party understand how tenuous their position is right now." I think they know exactly how tenuous their position is right now. That's why they're freaking out. They're seeing these polls, and as much as they're trying to cover up these numbers, people are seeing these numbers and going, because there's a lot of Democrats, as I've said many times, there's a lot of Democrats who work and have their taxes taken out. And they don't want to see this happening, but it keeps happening. I don't know why Trump would need to sign this order. It seems pretty self-explanatory, but just in, President Trump is going to sign an executive order banning United States companies from bribing foreign officials. How sad is it we have to tell companies, you shouldn't be bribing people? That's crazy when you think about that. What else we got here? Ron Paul has come out, or actually Elon Musk came out and said that he supports making Ron Paul the next chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve. So in essence, what we're seeing here is a sea change on the right. Everything that the Democrats have put together is falling apart. They've spent decades putting all these cogs in place so they could do what they want to do. And now it's like just falling. And one of those cogs is FEMA. They told us FEMA had no money for Americans on Maui, no money for Americans in East Palestine, no money for Americans in Western North Carolina, but FEMA had an extra $1 billion to spend on newcomers. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you live. But if you have friends, family in North Carolina, East Palestine, Ohio, Maui, California, and you've seen what these people have gone through, I mean, the degree of separation at this point is, I bet you can probably find within 4 or 5 leaps someone who knows somebody in one of those areas. And when you talk to them and you hear how much they've had to go through to overcome what's been happening, that's when you realize Why are we giving this money to these people? See, if you know somebody who's lived in one of those areas, and we know people who lived in two of those areas. I know people, and Robin knows people who lived in Maui, and we know the people in Western North Carolina. So we have intimately seen it happen twice. I don't have any relatives or people, that I are in my immediate family in California, but definitely in the Asheville area and definitely in Maui. So we've seen it. And more so, they've seen it. There are some real Democrats up in North Carolina who are like, oh, hell no. I've seen what you've done. There are Democrats who voted for crazy Mazie Hirono in Hawaii who now see, I see what you've done. And then at the same time, I got to apply for a $750 loan that I got to give back. I'm watching you spend $59 million in a New York hotel for newcomers. It's falling apart. I'm looking to see if he's coming out. If not, nope, don't know if he's coming. I'm looking at RSBN and television. Doesn't look like he's coming out. So what I'll do is I'll take care of that in the evening show later today. Let me go ahead. Let me go ahead and take some comments from you guys. Let's see here. I'm in North Carolina, but MAGA. Yep. Hirono is a blundering idiot. As she is. Let's see here. So much going on. So much and so fast. So by the time we talk tonight, so here's something we're going to cover tonight. Just want to let you know. I may go on early. That's why I may jump out tonight, because let me show you what is happening tonight. And she's asking for as many people, and I support her. Nancy May says, tune in tonight, watch live on C-SPAN and on our social media platforms. U.S. Representative Nancy Mace tonight will give speech outlining crimes against her and other women. Let's see what else she said here. Monday night, tonight, 7 p.m., floor of the U.S. House. Can't get here fast enough. So I don't know what she's coming out with, but I support her. And instead of going live at 8, I'll go live tonight at 7. Looks like let's tune in and see if there's any update on this Lawfare stuff in terms of what they're trying to do. 1 second. Got this.
200,000 range, and those may still be coming in as we get closer to midnight. Meanwhile, critics of Elon Musk's mission to cut waste overall continuing to rail against what they're calling a, quote, constitutional crisis.
Trump campaigned on helping working people, but now that he's in charge, this is the payoff to the rich guys who invested in his campaign.
I think this is the most serious constitutional crisis the country has faced, certainly since Watergate.
Now these boys from DOGE roll in violation of the Constitution, in violation of the law, in flagrant violation.
Wow. Okay, so Fox Business anchor David Asman is here in a moment. First to Fox Business correspondent Hillary Vaughn, who gets us up to date on all the breaking details in this story for us. Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Martha. Well, DOGE is taking a lot of incoming. They've been bombarded with lawsuits trying to stall their progress and handcuff their efforts to continue to expose the fraud and waste of Americans' taxpayers' dollars. Federal judge ruling over the weekend that DOGE cannot have access to the Treasury payment system out of concern that sensitive information could be disclosed. President Trump says these court rulings are crazy and that DOGE will not be deterred.
When a president can't look for fraud and waste and abuse, we don't have a country anymore. No judge should frankly be allowed to make that kind of a decision. It's a disgrace. And some of that stuff that we're finding is very fraudulent. Therefore, maybe we have less debt than we thought of. Think of that. So a lot of things are happening, but Elon's doing an excellent job.
The DOGE.
What was interesting is what he said right there in terms of, why is my button not working all of a sudden? I guess my button is not working. Okay, what that's weird. I can't I can't cut. Looks like I'm froze. I am frozen, which means I cannot move stuff around. So I don't know if it's my computer or what that decided to go away. Well, that's going to make it easy. If I can't talk about anything, I can. Let me just go to this one because this was another story I was getting ready to talk about. That's very weird. President Trump, I'm going to have to talk about it this way because I can't get back to my button, won't get me back to my screen, and it won't allow me. But in any event, one of the things he talked about was criminality. He just said it again. Fraud. He just reminded you again that it's probably going to be fraud. So I'm going to probably have to stop here after I read this tweet because I can't get anything else to work. Let me see if this pops up. Having a computer issue. Is that going to work? Yeah, that's going to work. All right. Wait a minute. All right. So let me finish up here. The FBI is literally leaking info on upcoming ICE raids to violent gangs, and the Senate is still slow-walking Kash Patel's confirmation. This puts ICE agents' lives in huge danger and allows gang members to flee. Another reason why we need Kash right now. Local media were everywhere. We were sometimes even ahead of us, Bill Illusion said while he was embedded with ICE. They, as well as the activists that accompanied them, had obviously been tipped off too. Yeah, so what you have is the FBI. I hope you guys can still see me because I'm not sure why I can't see anything, but this won't change. And I can't get back to my camera. They're leaking FBI information, and let me do this. No, I can't change over. So I'm just gonna have to leave it there. All right, so I'm having a computer issue, so it means I'm gonna have to shut down and reboot and everything else. However, I want to introduce you to a new feature I'm going to have, and I apologize for the super chats. I can't get to them to read them because the screen isn't working for whatever reason, so I apologize. I will pull them down manually. Maybe I can do this. Hold on. If I do this. Oh, yeah, I can try it this way. Hold on. Yeah, I can do it this way. Yeah, I can do it like this, and let's try and do it. Don't know what happened to my computer. I only have one screen available to me. Yeah, I can do it this way. All right, let me get to the super chats. Boom. So I can still do it. Great. So I can do it. I got to do it the old-fashioned way. Still there until I can reset. Let me just see. Was it Ashley or SV looking to get a hold of me? Sometimes the stuff just goes down. You can see. Okay, he says you can see. All right, so Kevin Carnes, thank you very much. Let me see if I can make this bigger so you guys can see it as well. Yeah. All right. Sometimes you got to do it old school. Kevin Kearns, thank you. Ken 1362, thank you very much. I tried to find out how much the Treasury is holding out of circulated coin. They have a large amount, but will not tell the public. He's talking about the pennies and nickels, probably. What the heck happened? Okay, it's not letting me. Yeah, I'm pretty much. Everything seems to be okay. Oh, all right. Now we're going. I gotta open up the window in here. Man, talk about issues with the computer. All right. I apologize. I can't see who that top one is. All right, so the tip of the spear. I don't know why it won't go up higher, so I can actually see that one. Maybe I can do it this way. All right, so I'm going to do it this way. Hey Barry, love your channel and watch GG Crafts. Hey Barry, love your channel and watch every day. Would you please consider changing your intro music? I change it all the time. I'm not sure why people get upset with that one song, but it's a rocking song, but I change it often. So yeah, I don't have a problem. I can change it. Susie Denham, it has yet to be proven and money ever reached any design charity. That is true. Joy4434, thank you. Master Cylinder, I was watching Sean Ryan's interview of Lindy Lee. Wow, she drops names and completely exposes the Democrats. Must see. So Ashley is going to be trying to get a hold of Lindy Lee, but I got some questions for her. I got questions. I'm just not going to lay down and let somebody just walk away. I want to know why it took that to happen. She was working for the other team. What made you decide to change? Robert Husbands, thank you. Arrested judges for treason. George Rivera Jr., thank you. DJT is brilliant. He's effectively smoked out these. Yeah, exactly. Jody Ellie, does the president have the right to fire the judges or arrest them? They're going to have to be impeached. Tommy Guns, okay. On X, I saw that Governor Shapiro had something to do. Like I said, I can't confirm all that stuff, so I don't want to put it out there. Stephen Anderson, I was up till 2:30 posting and reposting. I'm in the fight, brother. Thank you. Get in it. Stay in it. Michael Romero, the Messiah Obama was pro-Doge. Yeah, he put together much of that stuff. Brewly Music, thank you very much again. Thank you for the other day. My understanding of our Constitution that high treason is punishable by death. Aren't these lunatics visibly taking that risk? And legislators took an oath to support that. Yeah, they are taking that risk. They're playing a huge game of chicken, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, Detroit versus everybody. Congress can impeach the judges. Van Lightfoot, just watched the Benny Show. It's worse than we imagined. It is much worse. As this the way they haven't even got to Department of Defense stuff. It's coming. Robert Husbands, they're still trying to shut off the spigot. Yep. Danny Barrow, 2 of 3 Republicans speaking up. Crickets from the rest. I don't know why they're not talking. Master Cylinder, the penny is a start. Crypto is coming and soon. Biddle Beans. What's this? Something. My husband graduated from West Point in 1972. When he was in the Pentagon, he worked under Dick Cheney, and it was then that he decided he couldn't stay in the military anymore because of all the corruption he saw back then. Think about that. That's, 50? That's a long time. That's a long time. Mark of Reality, I wonder what it would take for this to become a military criminal matter. I don't want this level of corruption going on in front of corrupt judges. I've been a criminal attorney for 15, going on 20 years. Well, I think that number one is it has to be a criminal case. Remove it from just this, misappropriation of funds and stuff. They're going to have to dig, obviously, to make it criminal, find out people profited off this who weren't supposed to profit. Deb Blank, the judges think that they can make Trump get rid of the evidence like the January 6th evidence was destroyed. Nope, too late. God bless America. I just want to tell everybody, the Bible says, be not deceived. YouTube has a lot of videos claiming the Holy Bible of 1611 is wrong, and the events never happened. Don't fall for it. A lot of slick-tongued pastors out there. Robert Husbands, I don't want to hear anything the left says. Tommy, how you doing? Hope you're feeling better. All they ever had was hate and chaos. They want to fight. Okay, Barry, who is in control of the U.S. military? Yes, that's Trump. Let's fight. We tried peacefully. I agree. I completely agree. Jeff Jewell, thank you very much. Military tribunals for treason. If they keep pushing this, the Civil War will come. Trump needs to send in 50 soldiers at a time to arrest the judges who are politically defiant. I actually kind of agree with you. Something drastic is going to have to happen to change this. Guy Catalano, thank you. CR, thank you, Barry, for your information. I read Eco Loves You reports yesterday. Interesting. Demon of Cybertron, to anyone that doesn't want to listen, ignore it. You're not going to have a choice when it knocks on your door. Exactly. Tommy again, trying to mix everybody up, get it. They know most Americans don't know basic law. Forked tongue, more lies, don't fall for it. Big balls. And one of the problems I have with it all is there are some people getting, as you saw, very complacent. Very complacent. No such thing as a justice system. It's just us. Ken Hollins, is it possible to talk to you, Barry? You mean like on the phone? You can email me. I may get a separate phone line so I can talk to people. Czar, Pete, thank you very much. Where'd that go? Kevin Kearns, thank you. Ken 1362. I try to find how much. Okay, so we talked about the coins. Yes. And I think that is it. Dennis Patrick 199. So let me just tell you something. Some people, my wife and Ashley had made a note to me and said that, people like talking after the shows are over because they like to interact and talk. And when I hit stop streaming, the chat stays up for like 10 minutes. And then after that 10 minutes, it's over. If you're talking to somebody, you're chatting with somebody. And one of the things with what we do is we've been able to grow a nice community, a bunch of people who like to talk to each other. So starting right now, starting today, did I just get another super chat in here? Yeah, this went to CFPB. Control F5 will refresh your cache, but restart your live session. Yeah, that's one of the things. If I hit restart right now, everything can go poof. Even if I hit Control F5, I can't lose my dashboard. So I understand what you're saying. But anyway, let me go back to what I was saying. So starting today, when I sign off, you're going to see the outro. And then after the outro, if you'd like to stay and continue to chat, I'm going to have a 30-minute, just a after party type thing where people can stay and chat. And, if something happens, well, I can't do it today because my computer's messed up, but I was going to say get back on camera, but I'm going to play this 30-minute after party. So feel free to chat, and I can chat with you even with the camera off. So I may chat with you and just say thank you. But watch the outro. The outro is going to run its normal course, and that's for people who need to bail. Those of you who want to stay, there's going to be a 30-minute after party with just some music and background stuff. Let me know how you like it, and I'll talk to you at 7 tonight when we start talking about Nancy Mace. All right, check this out. And I guess we won't. It's not letting me. Well, I guess we'll start it tonight because it's not letting me. I put my button here. Hold on, we try here. Nope. Alright, so my board is frozen. I may not even be able to cut the thing. Nope. Alright. I'll try Control F5 and see. This may be a quick end. Control F5 and see what happens. Alright, so we'll have to play it tonight. I got a bug in the system. Yeah. It's not letting me cut. Alright, everybody, I'm going to have to just cut the stream and we'll try it tonight. That's very weird. See you later.